So I usually don't do videos about things that are impossible to prove, but I saw two videos that stuck out. I'm gonna cut them up, put them in here, and I'm gonna explain to you my opinion. This video is about the lady on the plane who said she saw a fake person. She was drunk, yes, but some people are saying some things and they have said some pretty compelling information, and it connected some dots for me, so I just want to elaborate. So I'm going to include those right here, check them out, and I'm going to pop in and out, and I'm going to tell you things that blew my mind by hearing this, and then I'm going to show you.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the fuck off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the fuck off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two fucks, but I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. If you can sit on this plane, then you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
Just remember, it doesn't matter how crazy it is, you got to go down all rabbit holes, be completely open. Just because one, it's interesting, and two, you never know what you're going to find. And if you're not open, you don't have access to all the information that there is. So hear it all, absorb it, come to conclusions afterwards, but remain open. Check it out.
Let me show you something Kevin Hart said a couple years ago after an All-Star game.
People, I didn't want to tell you this, but I have no choice. All-Star weekend in Toronto, Steph Curry, he says, Kevin, come here. He lifts up his arm. The man had mechanical shit in his arm. Wires and shit. He's a robot. He's not real.
Now, before y'all say he's making it up and doing it for kicks, check this video out. And here, you see him nail 5 full-court shots in a row. This is beyond human capability. Impossible, I swear.
Okay, no.
Really?
Oh, shoot. That's not a
Come on. Not a human on the planet.
Basketball players. This is what popped out to me, and a couple things he didn't mention. One, there's videos of all the basketball players moving at the same time robotically. Gotta check that out. It's like synchronization. I don't know what to look for keywords. I've got a video right here of a basketball player falling and his blood being yellow. It's always been strange. No one explained it. No one fact checked it and gave it an explanation to go away. It just was a mystery. Check this out.
So what my theory is, and again, this is just a theory. I'm not stating it as fact, but my theory is that robot and AI technology is much more advanced than we're being led to believe. And they actually plant these robots in public situations, in public places where people would least expect it, and among people to see just how well they do among humanity. These people want to know just how advanced their tech is and how advanced their AI is. So they're seeing if they will pass among actual humans. Now, could they be humans crossed with robots? Yes, very possibly. I know y'all remember the movie with Will Smith where he loses his arm and gets it replaced with a robot arm. This is known as transhumanism. You know what they say about movies? They predict the future. My theory and what I believe is that what she saw on that plane was a transhuman or a full-blown, artificially intelligent, sentient robot. And think about it. Why wouldn't an airlines company want robots as flight attendants? You don't have to pay them. They don't have insurance you have to pay. No premiums, no retirement. They are virtually a one-time purchase, and from there on out, unless they malfunction, they're free. It's honestly perfect, and I believe they've been integrating these robotic beings or possibly even organic robotic beings into society to see how they'll measure up. Similar to the show Westworld, someday they'll be integrated all throughout society. And what I believe is this one just so happened to possibly glitch out. It had an error or a malfunction. So as you can imagine, she was terrified when she saw something unhuman come from him. He may have been harmless, may have been literally no threat whatsoever to the plane, but she saw something odd take place that he did, and it freaked her right out, just like it would anybody, because we're oblivious to the idea that they already started integrating them into society. I guarantee you they would do this. It makes all the sense in the world.
A video of an emotional woman on a plane saying that the man next to her was not real goes viral.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
This is followed by multiple videos of people claiming to have witnessed the man's eyes wink from side to side.
When he winked at me, and it was his left eye looking back at me, it didn't wink like this. It winked like this.
It didn't like this. It was almost like his pupils winked. It was like from like this way.
A video from 2022 falsely claims that it captured the event. And while it all goes viral, many of us can smell the nonsense. A Freemason with 300,000 followers on TikTok releases a video claiming to be the actual man from the plane.
So we're attempting to fly out of Dallas, Fort Worth, and then basically this woman, she sits next to me and she's clearly been drinking. I'm minding my own business, and sure enough, she sees my hoodie that has this Freemason logo on it. And on top of that, she noticed my ring, so she started to ask questions. Nothing dramatic, just asked me, do I know what these symbols mean? Why am I wearing it? What's the purpose? Yada, yada, yada. And long story short, I basically just say, hey, I'm a Freemason. Next thing I know, she basically starts to grill me about low-level Freemason and that it's all Satanism and that it's ruled by reptilians and blah, blah, blah. So I simply put my hood up and I started to ignore her and basically just mind my own business. So moral of the story, don't believe everything you hear on the internet.
You cannot believe anything you hear on the internet or anywhere else for that matter. And there are two main reasons why this all went viral. First off, the story of reptilian humanoids living among us goes all the way back to the beginning of recorded history. The oldest official writings on Earth are the Sumerian texts. They describe a reptilian race that genetically modified human beings with their own reptilian DNA. All three of the Abrahamic religions describe a reptilian race of humanoids that live among us. The story of the Garden of Eden in the Torah, wherein Adam and Eve were created in the image of the Elohim, reptilian beings known as the Nachash began breeding with Eve so that they could be more like the Elohim.
So the reptiles breeding with Eve. Why this is interesting to me is because I just happened to be doing research on the Rosicrucians and deep into their archives, and I came across an old scroll from the 1800s, I believe, that was from the Getty Museum in their digital archive. And it was basically looked like adrenochrome stuff, really weird. It shows kids inside vials with blood. I'll show the video. It's interesting that these scrolls depicted it, and at the same time, Eve is short for evil, and that stems back from the decision Eve made to eat the apple. So it's just interesting. You know, this isn't an attack on women. No one hates women. It's just a search for the truth.
According to the Torah, these Nachash were obsessed with genetic modification.
The Book of Enoch is interesting. Wait until you hear the Book of Giants. The Book of Giants was discovered in 1947 in the Dead Sea Scrolls discovery. The manuscript is dated to the 2nd century BC at the earliest, but could be much older. The same narratives as mentioned in the Book of Enoch of the fallen angels, their corruption of mankind, and their destruction through the flood of Noah is mentioned all throughout the Book of Giants. The scroll was found deteriorating, leaving only fragments of text, but the pieces of text we do have hold incredible information. The Book of Giants describes in great detail the fallen angels corrupting the genetics of all flesh that was on the earth. It tells us specifically in one of the fragments, fragment 1Q23 1+6, 200 donkeys, 200 asses, 200 rams of the flock, 200 goats, 200 beasts of the field, from every animal, from every bird, were selected for miscegenation. Miscegenation refers to the mixing of races or species, particularly in the context of sexual intercourse. The next text that follows makes it absolutely clear that this wasn't referring to different species breeding with each other, but actual cross-species genetics involving the seed of the fallen angels themselves. It's important to notice that giants and monsters are referred to in unique, distinct references. We know from Genesis 6:4 that when humans and angels mated together, that the offspring they produced was giant humans, half human, half fallen angel. Fragment 4Q5312. They defiled, they begot giants and monsters. They begot, and behold, all the earth was corrupted. Through this, we can come to the conclusion that these fallen angels were breeding with animals, and their offspring would be half animal and half fallen angel and very large in size. This reality would make sense with all the ancient depictions of monsters and creatures. Maybe those creatures weren't figments of their imagination, but actual half-human, half-fallen angel monsters roaming the earth.
And still live among us today, where they feed off a substance called afar, which is the same substance that human beings are made of. In the Christian Bible, this creature is described as a serpent in a tree. In the Nag Hammadi, early Christian Gnostics wrote of a race of creatures known as the Archons, described as a reptilian humanoid. These archons fed off of humans, including negative emotions such as fear and anger. The Quran also has writings that describe reptilian creatures who live among us, known as the jinn.
Interestingly enough, there's many names clearly for these reptilian creatures, many depictions, but it's similarly, just like God, there's many names for. Also, Satan, or the devil, there's many names for, like Set, Satan, Gilgamesh, Nimrod, which I covered in a previous video. There are many names for these creatures.
The Aztec Mayan serpent gods Kulkukan and Quetzalcoatl are also described as rainbow serpents, and were believed to have created human beings using their own DNA. This is found everywhere. The Druids of England called it Hakpen. The Romans called it Glykon. In Africa, it was Niami Niami. In Egypt, it was Apapus. Many royal bloodlines have claimed to be descendants of these serpent gods, such as Alexander the Great of Macedon, Emperor Jimmu of Japan, and the Dragon Dynasty of Media, now known as Iran. The Nagas serpent beings of India are believed to still live among us in underground cities, and the Hopi Indians have stories of underground cities that are home to thousands of lizard people.
Keep in mind about the underground cities, I've actually covered this deep. They exist in most places. It's almost like this world was built on top of another one, or they made another world down there. But look it up, there is a bunch of compelling stuff regarding things underground. Seriously.
This manhole and a camera swivels, and stares at us. Like, oh God, and then we realized we were into some critical shit. It was just telecommunication hubs.
An exposed manhole cover and a tunnel that you can get to.
Dude, we wiggled through like tunnel to tunnel, like through tiny crevices. We were getting into like the deep underbelly of the city. I mean, it was not easy to get to. At the same time, we had been cracking all of the abandoned tube stations. Took a map from 1932 and we set a map from 2008 on top of it. And what you see are a bunch of stations that are no longer on the map. That's your first clue.
Modern science supports the idea that humans have been genetically modified in the distant past, and neuroscientist Paul MacLean introduced the triune brain model, which is based on an evolutionary view of human brain development, the reptilian brain being the most primal. This is where our fight or flight response comes from. It is the home of our lower ego mind.
Look what this guy had to say about the government hiding Nephilim giants in their military bases.
Greg Renrich, that was one of the things that he told me. He's the one that was talking about seeing the giants in the deep underground military bases. He said that one of the first things that they had to do before he was allowed to go into S4 or S20 or any of the others, they made him sign an affidavit saying, you're not allowed to use the name Jesus Christ in these underground facilities, not even if you stub your toe or anything. And he said that he saw 10 to 25 foot tall giants in these underground bases and said that they were, human scientists and other people working side by side with him. He said that they even came right out and said they were the Nephilim. They came right out and said it. Said that, basically we're preparing for an intergalactic war with God, and they believe that they're going to win.
Here is a scientific diagram of the laminin cell adhesion molecule that's holding your body together right now, okay? This is what I found right here. No, come on, that's crazy. That's just crazy.
If you watched this whole thing and you were open to it and you want to see more, I actually made a reptile documentary, reptilian compilation, you could call it. And you can actually see different videos, really compelling good ones, and different explanations for these reptilians all in this video. And you can check it out. A lot of good stuff, a lot of rare stuff. And you can check out the entire archive for extraterrestrials. It's just where I store information. It's public, but it's for myself. It's also for the world. But it's for me, and I back it up on hard drives. You have access to it all. I have so much, and a lot of it's banned, so it's gold stuff. Check it out. And also, become a member of the Disclosure Hub on Telegram and on our Rumble. Check out all the documentaries that will blow your mind. I'm thorough and I care. And don't forget to get a Roku and check us out on Burrow. All of the archival information and videos are on there, mind blowers, and all of our documentaries. Watch it on your TV. Tell your loved ones. Burrow.